you got people in the gang, they on the weekend they got visitations, right? You go to visitation. They got every gang got a lookout man. Well, he ain't going to chow at all that day. He's sitting on the bunk all day clocking who went to Vizzo and who's coming back. And as soon as you come back, they watch that bathroom. You go to the bathroom, they're seeing and they're running down with swords, people on the toilet, you know, that are shitting out the bomb that they done packed. Give it up or we gonna go in there and get it, you know? So it was like...
What's good, man? It's your boy E.I. the King, and this is the Incarceration Podcast, where I talk about prison, pre, post, and present, how everything that I experienced throughout my incarceration has forever changed my life. This is the Incarceration.
All right, good afternoon. This is State of Florida versus Stephen Testo with multiple cases before the court.
Forever Convict family, listen, we are on a journey to 50,000 subs. We are over halfway there. So if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Share this channel with anybody who enjoys prison content. And if you don't know my story, I've done over 12 years in prison. And all throughout my incarceration on this channel, I share the crazy, funny, goofy, weird prison stories, as well as interviewing other convicts and sharing their stories as well. But most importantly, we highlight the redemptive stories of convicts coming home, leaving their past lifestyle of crime, and now living successfully in
Boys,
society.
you know, none of that. So I stayed in my lane, you know?
So how long did you do at Calhoun? You did your whole 2 years there?
Yeah, I did my whole 2 years there.
You got any other stories while you're at Calhoun, whether it be crazy or even funny or just like good memories from that prison or any other like memorable moments throughout your first bid?
I just remember like the black sergeants and stuff wearing cowboy boots and spit and dip. And I was like, well, it was just, I'd never seen nothing like that, you know? And I remember like they'd come in with like Piggly Wiggly bags. I didn't know it was a real place, Piggly Wiggly. I thought it was like I saw it in movies. It was, I got to see real animalistic stuff. You know, I ain't know nothing about no gunning. I ain't know nothing about they jacking off to the guards all day. I'm trying to use the phone, man, you in my game room. It was just, bro, it was wild, you know, it was wild, but I met some great people there, man. We had some fun. There was sports back then, you know, all that worked out, play sports. I got introduced into working out in there. I never worked out in my life. Like 6 months in, I was always the guy waiting for the weed to hit the compound, you know? When the weed hit the compound, I'm trying to get a sack with my homeboy and smoke. And then, so I started working out. And in the beginning, man, I'm talking about doing 10 sets of 10 push-ups. And for like 2 weeks, I'm like, I couldn't even touch my back in the shower. To have someone holding my feet to do pull-ups, you know? And then I just started working out. Started feeling better, you know, and then I just getting bigger. Like, I just never really experienced that, but that's something that stuck with me through life. Exercise, working out, the mental health and releasing endorphins and all that still stuck with me to this day, you know?
So you got out 20, 21?
I got out at 21.
Okay, so you got out at 21 years old. What happened when you got out?
I had just had a daughter when I went in there, my first daughter. When I got out, actually, when I was in there, I had a legal mail call out like 6 months in, 3 months in. I thought it was for child support. It was a telephonic hearing that my baby's mother had a new baby, and the baby tested positive for cocaine, THC, Xanax. So she had a son when I got with her. They took the son, they took my daughter, and they took the new kid, you know? So I had they're like, okay, I had a telephonic hearing, and they're like, when you get out, you go for custody. So when I got out, I had to go to court for that immediately. Now, my baby's mother's friend, Erica, she stepped up. She was a godmother, and she took all the kids. She had like temporary custody. The other two fathers, they signed off on custody, you know, and so she had the kids. And my daughter, they was like, yeah, you know, you can get it right now. You even though you're in jail for selling drugs, you're not an offending parent. You didn't do it in front of the kid, you know? So they were gonna give me custody. I'm a baby myself, and she's also with her siblings. I'm like, what do I look like? You know, and then Erica, who had her, she was like, look, if you sign over your rights, I'll never keep you from her, you know, this and that. So it was a tough decision to do that, but I knew it was the right thing to do, you know, that she was taken care of, she's with her siblings. So I signed over the rights to my oldest daughter, and that was tough getting out, But yeah, I got a job, construction job. They had a lot of programs back then. This program called Florida Rebuilds program. It was like, I guess being a felon, they hire you, they go out of their way to hire you, get federally bonded and all this stuff. So I got out and got a job. I feel like every time I got out of prison, everything landed in my lap, you know, for opportunities, but I messed them up. Every time I was stuck on the same thing.
How'd you start messing up, and what happened to eventually led you back into your second prison bid?
I got out, I got that construction job, and I was working there, and everyone it was like we were building a Cemex plant in Brooksville, like for this place called Zachary Construction. Long story short, 700, 800 employees, about 50 of them were from Hernando and Pasco. The rest are travel with the job from Los Angeles, Louisiana, Kentucky, and they all got habits. Now I got a hustler mentality. All these people got habits. I'm like, I know they need work, you know? So I started bringing weed, bringing loud in my lunchbox, selling coke. I started, you know, making money selling drugs again, went back into the drug game. And, you know, I always made money selling drugs, but I wasn't smart. I was so stupid with my money. I spent it as fast as I got it. And I had all that time on my hands. I drank excessively. I took Xanax. I was an idiot. I was just in and out of jail until I went back to prison in 2010. But during that stretch, in and out of jail, little county bids, I had one, I got robbed, I kicked the door down and I got charged. I went to trial. I was in jail like 14 months, went to trial and beat it, and got out, one trial, and within like 6 months, just back to prison again for like busting scripts at the pharmacies for prescription pills. I got hooked on pain pills around, that was probably like 2009. That was my second trip, went back to prison. I went to Mayo.
How much time they gave you for, was it doctor shopping?
Yeah, no, so it was like doctor shopping, but they lowered it down to possession of like a fraudulent prescription or something, or attempted to obtain or something like that. And they gave me 30 months for that.
30 months?
Yeah.
So how long were you out of prison from the first to second bid?
I was out like 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so
but I mean, in the county every one of those years.
And then fighting that big robbery
yeah,
case.
I did like, I think 2 1129s in between there. So, you know, 11.
You're still pretty much incarcerated
yeah,
the whole time.
Yeah.
So whenever they hit you with the 30 months, go ahead and start telling stories and just share your experience navigating through prison the second bid. How was it going to prison your second bid compared to the first time, first of all?
You know, well, the second bid, I was a lot more familiar with it, but I had been out almost 5 years. So, you know, I never smoked cigarettes, but I did smoke weed. And they took the cigarettes out, they took the weights out. By the time I went back, the whole chain game was different, you know? But it was all right. Mayo had handball courts. I liked playing handball. I was in a solid open bay dorm with some dudes. And we had some good times, man, just clowning, playing. I learned how to play pinochle that bid. And then I used to play spades. Once I played pinochle, spades was out the window. Just playing tongue, a lot of gambling, and just really wasting my time. You know, I read a lot of books, but I wasn't trying to better myself. I was just doing the same thing.
What were some of the craziest things you remember from that bid? Or just like memorable moments?
Well, so when I was at Mayo, they started like shutting a lot of camps down. And so the compound was like, it was a big compound. They had a big track, handball courts, football field, basketball, and it was a lot to do, you know? I remember halfway through the bid, they were like, they're shutting the compound down. And so they shut it down and they moved us all to the annex. They had a new prison they opened up, brand new, and the annex it's just one big compound.
I also have a fire HBO style series chronologically going over my prison experience from day one, all throughout my 12 years in prison. But you got to become a member to this channel. If you're on desktop, that's the only way you can do it. If you're on a mobile phone, you got to do it through Safari, or you got to go to your internet app and become a member. Check out a brief clip right here. It's not directly addressing me. It's not directly addressing anybody. He's just saying it loudly about all the new people. And we weren't the only new people who came in that day. There's people who came in before us. But I'm thinking still he's going to be the one that tries me. So he goes and he sits down, and I'm sitting on the bench, and all of a sudden someone approaches me. I'm sitting on the outside of the bench and someone stands right
with 4 quads. So it's 4 different quads. Now, me and you could be in the same prison and we're in these 2 different quads. We don't never see each other. they put the quads, these two went out at the same time and these two, so you can't talk through the fence. I mean, they started being a lot less wreck, a lot more controlled movement. It was a lot of negative transfers, a lot of gang. It was gangland. It was you know, it was just a lot more control, a lot more less freedom, you know, which sounds crazy, freedom in prison, but yeah, in that time too, I stayed in the box, going in the box for fighting. I got 6180. I got popped coming through the center gate. 6180 is 60 days in the box, 180 days lost of game time for a dirty urine. I'm coming through center gate, and the way the chatter like, you popped me, and I just smoked, and I was like, oh man. So going to the box, and it was like, I think it was that bit, I was in there like, man, I'm in prison. Every time I'm in jail. Like,
explain confinement for the viewers who never experienced, you know, going to prison or jail, or especially confinement.
So I know this sounds crazy. When you're in prison, you adapt real quick. You know, some adapt more than others. Like, be with boys and stuff, you know, sexual, like, they really adapt, you know. But when I say adapt is, you try to get comfortable, you know, you get in a groove, you get a group of friends, you play cards, you get workout schedule, whatever, you got your life. You try to adapt and do the time, don't let the time do you. Well, you can take a shower whenever you want, pretty much. You got count time and this and that, but when you go to the box, whether you get 30 days, 60 days, you get 3 showers a week, you handcuffed and shackled, you in a box by yourself, you get trays through a flap, with you begging for a seasoning pack or a coffee bomb, you know. You go to the shower 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you handcuffed and shackled. It's usually a cold shower. You walk in there. I mean, it's really, you don't have nothing in your property but the Bible. You get one book, the Bible. They got runarounds that'll bring you a book or something, but you know, it's a real, I've seen it really break people down mentally. Or I've seen it like me, I really kind of found out who I was, you know, like, it's really get to know yourself in there.
That's real. Any other memories from that prison and from that bid?
Nah, not really. I've seen the guards at Mayo. They would be like, welcome to Mayo, stands for Max all yours out, you know, and they were real hands-on. They would beat people bad in there. And that was back when they were really putting their hands on, you know, and I'm talking about killing inmates. The guards were really abusing people bad, man. And I've noticed in prison a lot, man, it's a lot of, the prisons are always in these rural towns, man, like Franklin. I went to Franklin, Liberty, all these panhandle where there's nothing in the town but prison. So everyone that lives there, they work in prison. So they all either married, related, or married and related. Inbred is crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's a real, it's messed up, man. They treat you bad. You know, I don't know the hand they were dealt in life, and they got power. And I don't know the schematics of, but they treat you real bad. They put their hands on you, and you really, you know, it's crazy. So many, I know my parents and a lot of people like, oh, you'll go to prison, learn their lesson, but they don't really know what really goes on in there and how treacherous it really is. How, you know, it's bad in there. You know, I know they put cameras in. I forget what year they put cameras in, not like for our safety, to protect us from the guards. That's what it was, you know. But yeah, it's ratchet in there.
So what happened getting out of prison your second time?
I got out of prison my second time on CRD. CRD is conditional release. So in Florida, you got to do 80% of your time, and so say I got 10 years, right? And 80% of my time, I got to work to get the 2 years off, 20%. So you get that time off, you go home early, but you don't get it off. You got to do it on parole and pay them. So it's really, you're doing 100% of your time. So I had like 4 or 5 months CRD, and